everyone, hello, Chocolate here for episode 24 of Look Back. Yes, can't believe it's episode 24, but I've been a bit slow with these ones. I think I mentioned in episode 23 really, how I kind of got a bit behind on doing my Look Backs videos. And what they basically are is when I look back at what I reviewed a year ago and 5 years ago, and talk about what my thoughts were then and what my thoughts are now, whether they've changed or not really. So it's an interesting way of just basically looking back at what was around at the time, whether they're still around now, of course, and just really whether my opinions have changed over time, and just to reflect back on them, really. But as I mentioned, I did get a bit behind on these because what I was doing was I was trying to sort of edit my videos a bit more, take a bit more time over them, and make a lot more cuts in them and things like this, and it just ended up me being sort of getting behind on my videos, to the point where Look Back suffered a bit because they take quite long to look backs anyway. You know, each video is about between five hours plus really of work to get them done. So I just didn't have the time to do look backs, unfortunately. All the research back into it, doing the editing of the videos and looking at what the research back, looking at what I said at the time, looking for my ratings, things like this, and actually recording the videos and editing it and things like this. But anyway, long story short is I got behind, so I'm doing a month all at once. It should be basically a week's worth of videos really, but I've got so far behind it's a month's worth, so I think I'll have another one of a look back where it's another month, and then hopefully I'll kind of be almost caught up. So I just need to perhaps get sorted this week with that, and hopefully I'll be, as I say, back on track with them. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Yes, before I continue, links for all the things I'm talking about now will be in the description, by the way. So, if you want to check them out, links, as I say, will be in the description. So about a year ago, I did do some live reviews, and I won't sort of talk about these as far as what I think of them now, because they need to be sort of looked at in context, really, because a lot of these are chocolate selections, things like this. Obviously, ones that, are applicable, I will talk about, but generally all these ones that I did a year ago were all chocolate selections, so I won't actually talk about the ratings overall. But I did a Nestle Dairy Box, interesting one, that one, very interesting. I think definitely a surprise one, that one. I think they'd upgraded, I think they've changed a couple of their chocolates in there as well. I know Andrew Winton was a bit disappointed, I think, so worth looking into that one anyway. Then I did the Thorntons Classic, what's it, the Taste of the Nation. Yes, an interesting one, very bold claim, that Taste of the Nation, yeah, so worth checking out as well. If I'm looking over there, by the way, it's because I've got my notes, that's why I keep looking over there basically, so I've got to sort of reference what they were and what I thought and things like this. And they did a Lidl chocolate review special as well, so these ones are basically the Lidl version of classic chocolate bars like Mars and Snickers and things like this, so an interesting one. And did a part 2 of it as well, so they kind of concentrate on the big taste equivalents of like Cadbury Big Taste bars, or Milk and Max bars, I guess you'd say. So both interesting ones, those ones actually, yeah, of Lidl's own brand versions of those products, so an interesting one, yeah. Then they did a Tesco chocolate review special as well, so I was doing a sort of supermarket range generally at the time. So this one was sort of Tesco's own brand versions of, as I say, the sort of classic bars like Mars and things like this. And I think I did some other things as well, their own brand chocolates in that one as well. So yeah, go check those out. Very interesting live ones, as I say. And also another one I've noticed, Stash Watch episode 1 I did a year ago as well. I can't we were talking about, it's episode 50. Yeah, we did it last week, and crackers, it's gone so quickly, really is. I also did a video on what's Discord all about as well. You would have seen me talking about Discord quite a lot, what's it about, and my Discord server, this, that and the other. So go check that out if you're not sure what Discord is. It's an interesting video, and it might help you understand it and things like that. Maybe make you want to join as well, sign up. So interesting to do, and I think definitely would recommend looking into Discord. It's great to keep in touch with myself, as I say, and other people on the channel, things like this. And yeah, posting pictures and recommendations and things like this for chocolate products and news and stuff like that, or even just looking at it to find out what's coming out and things like this because of what other people are posting. So yeah, check it out. And then I did a tier list as well, a Cadbury chocolate bars tier list. Yeah, so I think I did lots of Cadbury products, and tiered them basically using tier makers to put them into ranks of I think S, A, B, C, D and E, I think it went up to. So interesting one as well, so I would check that out also. I think it went to E anyway, might have only gone to D, I'm not sure, but either way, an interesting video that one. Might do more of those tier lists, as I keep saying, so yeah. I also do member videos, so if you're a member or you want to become a member, these are the ones I did a year ago as well. I did the Magnum Double Gold Caramel Billionaire Ice Cream, so very exuberant, I think you'd say. I think that's the word that would describe it. Sounds like it should be anyway. So that's an interesting one. So if you are a member now and you didn't watch these at the time, go back and watch them. If you are considering becoming a member, or if these whet your appetite, link for being a member is in the description. Good way to help out the channel, and you do get some exclusive reviews as well if you're a bronze member or above. So yeah, do check that out. Great way to support the channel, as I say. Also did the Cornetto Soft Strawberry over ice cream review. Then we did the Nesquik Chocolate and Banana Flavoured Pillows cereal. So it sounds like, again, we keep hearing me talk about banana, how excited I am. So it's banana flavoured cereal. So I was very excited for this one. So yeah, if you want to see what I thought of that one, let's say become a member and find out. Bronze level or above. Now did the Walker's Flaming Hot Flavour Potato Crisps. Wow, I can't believe this was a year ago. I was just doing just did a sort of M&S spicy crisp review, saying I did some Walker's ones. I can't believe it was a year ago since I did that. It's ridiculous, really, but yeah, crazy. And the dairy milk choc tops ice creams as well. So these sort of like weird, look like a microphone basically. Imagine like a sort of cornetto type ice cream, but with the ice cream at the top covered in chocolate, essentially dairy milk chocolate. What it's meant to be anyway. I can't quite recall if it actually was. I assume it was, but yeah, interesting one again. So some ice cream reviews there. So then the actual reviews I did. Now you will be seeing me use my mouse a bit to look at my notes and things like that, so I do apologise for that, but but there's a lot of notes to look at, so I have to do it unfortunately. But yeah, so I miss one out on last look back actually. I should have included it, but I missed it out. I think I skipped it by accident. And it was the Phaser's milk chocolate with raspberry and licorice crisps. I gave this one 4 out of 5. I've said basically Phaser's chocolate I really love. It's Phaser's milk chocolate. Really, really tasty. Really liked it, but the licorice was quite strong, so it kind of affected the taste. It was full of sort of these little pieces and things. I think there's little, was it licorice dragees or whatever? I'm not too sure, but it was full of pieces, and possibly licorice and raspberry as well. Really nice one actually, but I'd say just perhaps too strong on the licorice. And I'm not a massive licorice fan, but if you imagine sort of, blackcurrant licorice sweets and things like this, the ones you have in the UK. It's like chewy ones. If you like those kind of things, even though you don't really like licorice, you might like them. And that's kind of where I am at really. And this bar was a bit more towards that than actual licorice. So 4 out of 5. I think that's probably about right really. I do really like Phaser's chocolate, which is a Finnish company. Sometimes you can get them in the UK, but not often. But really nice bar actually. But as I say, just unfortunately the licorice was just a bit too strong, and it kind of it just affected the rest of the flavours unfortunately. So yeah, but I think that was about right. 4 out of 5. Then the Kitkat Duos mint and dark chocolates. Yes, give this a 3.5 out of 5 and get this no real dark chocolate taste, rendering it a bit pointless because it's not really a duo bar if you can't really taste half of it, you know what I mean? So yeah, so give it a 3.5 out of 5. And the mint was a bit subtle as well, I said. So yeah, so 3.5 out of 5 sounds a bit I don't know. I think it's just because it's got something about it, but it sounds a bit high, that one, Don't know. I think I will lower that one to a 3 out of 5. It sounds a bit underwhelming, that one, to be honest with you. It doesn't really taste of mint, doesn't really taste of dark chocolate. I think, especially more on the dark chocolate side as well, doesn't really taste so much of that. So I think I'll lower that one to a 3 out of 5. I think that's probably a bit more suitable, really. Then the Cadbury's Dairy Milk inspired by Perky Nana, an Australian import, this one. I gave this a 4 out of 5, so it's crammed full of Perky Nana, which is basically like, those foam banana sweets you get, in the penny, well, not quite so penny sweets anymore, but those kind of things. Imagine those, basically a chocolate bar filled with them, but the Australian versions of them. But the Aussie sort of dairy milk isn't the best, really. I give it a 4 out of 5. I think that's probably about right. It's more a 3.5 than a 4.5 for sure. But I think a 4 out of 5 is probably about right for that one, yeah. It was crammed full of big, sort of, I'll say, sort of foam banana pieces, but So an interesting bar, that one. Interesting, but I say the dairy milk is not so strong in Australia, I don't think. So if it was a UK bar with the same thing, I think it would be great, but I think it would be like a 5 out of 5 almost, I think. But yeah, or at least a 4.5 anyway. But this one I think was only just a 4. Could have been a 3.5 on another day. They did the Lindt milk chocolate mini eggs with a creamy white filling. Give these a 3.5 out of 5. So there's sort of like a massive gap in the middle where it's basically 2 halves of the egg put together. Because it's not filled quite to the top on each side, you actually get a big gap in the middle. Yeah. And I said it's quite nice. What else did I say? Gap in the middle. Yeah, nothing too special, and they're not egg shaped. They're more those rugby ball shaped because they're sort of like two. They don't actually shape them like an egg. They shape them sort of like I don't know, like a capsule almost, if you know what I mean. So yeah, a bit rubbish. I don't like it when they do that really. But yeah, so let's give 3.5 out of 5. I think that's probably about right, really. The filling's quite an interesting one. I think it's probably about right, 3.5 out of 5. I don't think it's, if anything, it'd be a 4 rather than the 3. But I think even that's perhaps going a bit too far. I don't think it's that strong. So interesting one. 3.5 out of 5. I think it's about right. The Cadbury's Dairy Milk Orange. Give us a 4 out of 5. It's a bit of a safe one. Not too much orange flavour in it. It's quite sort of. It's basically exactly as you'd expect it to be. Yeah, it was that orange craze that was going on. I think it's petering off a bit now. Interesting bar, as I say, it was just not a massively strong orange flavour. There's other ones, Terry's Chocolate Orange out there, things like this. It's probably the same, if not slightly better, maybe. Difficult one to say. Not too bad, just quite a safe bar. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be, no more, no less. But nice still, all the same. I think 4 out of 5 is about right. They did the Cadbury's Dairy Milk Neapolitan. It's an Australian import, but it looks amazing. This one looked really nice. It's got the colours of the Neapolitan ice cream. basically sort of like the brown at the bottom representing the sort of chocolate flavour ice cream, then a sort of white, I think it was white next, or it might be pink next, I'm not sure, sort of basically like, I think, pink coloured with white chocolate, and then the white chocolate on top. I say it looks interesting, but the flavours just don't really work together or particularly remind you of the Neapolitan ice cream. So I think it was kind of all style over substance, really, I felt. And of course, because, again, the Australian dairy milk chocolate doesn't taste that great either, you don't really get even that sort of from the milk chocolate either, it doesn't really taste that interesting, something like the UK one has a very distinct taste, the Australian one just doesn't really. So I don't know, it just didn't really have anything, flavours blend into one, just wasn't that interesting. I mean, 3.5 out of 5 is about right as well. I think it was just a sort of, it was a nice experience, but probably one you wouldn't be too particularly bothered about having it again, but it looked great. Then we did a Mcvitti strawberry cheesecake flavoured chocolate digestives. Yes. Yeah, I thought this was one of the better ones in the series, really, and I thought it actually, it tasted quite nice, and the flavours are still quite subtle like the rest of the ones in this range, really. I don't know, they just had very subtle flavours, it's very disappointing, really. But the thing is, it's not really cheesecake flavour. I found it was just kind of like I don't know, just a strawberry flavour, basically. There was no sort of cheesecake side of it at all, really. I guess you had by default sort of the biscuit base because it's a digestive biscuit, but I don't know, yeah. So that was alright. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think if anything, I'd lower it to 3.5, but I feel like I'll give it the benefit of the doubt this one, I think. I don't know. I feel like it might be a 3.5 if anything. But I feel like, I don't know, I gave it a 4. I was quite conscious of this one at the time, saying, I'm just not too impressed with these ones. And I gave it a 4. I feel I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt with that one. Yeah. I mean, for instance, here we go. We did the Mcvitti's lemon drizzle flavoured chocolate digestives as well. Nothing too different from the regular ones, this one. I just think it had a bit of a lemon flavour, but again, nothing special. I gave this a 3 out of 5. It just didn't really stand out again, really. This is why perhaps the strawberry cheesecake one should have been a 3.5 out of 5. Just perhaps it wasn't that much more than this one, really. But I don't know. Just said it was a bit, just again not really a cake flavour. I think the other one just stood out a bit more just because it had a bit more of an interesting flavour. But this one, I don't know, wasn't really that strong. So I don't know. Maybe the other one should have been a 3.5 out of 5. I'm not sure, but I say I gave myself the benefit of the doubt. I was being quite strict on these at the time, so that's why I didn't change it really because. Yeah, I read quite a lot of these and they all had quite similar problems. So, So for me to have given one a 4 out of 5, it must have stood out in some way. Yeah, so again, I'll keep this one the same, I think. I think 3 out of 5 is probably about right. If anything, it's a 3.5, I think, just because it had a bit of lemon flavour. But I just felt it didn't stand out that much, really, from the regular chocolate digestive. So, yeah. Then did the Thorntons Camo Shortcake White Chocolate Bites. Give these a 2 out of 5. I guess, but so they look great, but you can't taste any of the layers other than the caramel. Yeah, a bit stodgy as well. Yeah. So I think that's probably about right as well, really. And there's room for far more. They have lots of empty space in the packaging as well. So I think a 2 out of 5 is about right for that one as well. Yeah. Disappointing, those ones. Really disappointing them. Then the Maryland cookies, the Jaffinator. And I gave these a 2 out of 5. Again, it's not one of these Maryland cookies where they've just been really disappointing. Just no real flavour to them at all. Not much better than the Mcvitti's Digestive, basically. Just not really any flavour at all. And a lot of their Maryland cookies are like that. So... yeah, disappointing. Disappointing, that one. Yeah, so I think 2 out of 5 is about right, really. Then the Nestle Yorkie Orange. I said it sort of felt a bit, had a weird consistency, this one. It had a strange, I wouldn't say powdery, but it seemed to be on the way to being that. But it had a bit of a powdery consistency. Strange, it wasn't really like a solid block of chocolate like the regular Yorkie was. I don't know. It's had a weird consistency. Give it a 4 out of 5, but I'm upping this one to 5 out of 5. I actually really love this one after the event. I just couldn't get enough of it. I don't know, it's just something about it. The orange flavour, the Yorkie chocolate, and that weird consistency it had. I don't know. Really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5, this one. Just really worked for me. Yeah, so yeah, I was a bit apprehensive about this one. Not really being much like a Yorkie when I had it last year. But I'll say, as I finished off the bar later and had more of them, I just really liked them. Yeah, 5 out of 5, just... really nice consistency, just yeah, lovely. I don't know. Nestle chocolate milk chocolate's not the best, but for some reason with Yorkies it just works for me. And then the orange one just added something else as well, just a different consistency and that flavour as well. Just really liked it. 5 out of 5. Nice one, that one. Then the last one I did a year ago, the Maltese Orange Biscuits. Gave these a 4 out of 5. Perhaps not as good as Orange Club, because it doesn't have the cream in it, but a great taste and texture. I'm going to up these ones as well. I really enjoyed these ones. Similar thing as well, just after the event. I just really enjoyed the orange flavour. Just really enjoyed the sort of biscuit consistency. something about them, yeah, I'm up in these ones, maybe too far, I don't know, but I distinctly remember thinking these ones, yeah, I really enjoyed these, and just something about them. I don't know if I think the Orange Club, I don't know, it's definitely not as good as it used to be, you know what I mean? So, should I go all the way to a 5 out of 5 for these ones? I'm not sure. I don't know. I was all ready to give them a 5 out of 5, but I think I'll rein it back in just a bit, 4.5 out of 5, but I'm very close to saying a 5 out of 5 for these ones. They're really nice, really enjoyed these ones. Yeah, just something about them, just a nice orange flavour, a nice biscuit consistency, just all worked really well, Maybe just missing out on something there, I don't know, but really enjoyed them. Just a nice biscuit consistency. It's that sort of, I would say like a posh digestive sense, a bit like a Rocky bar, maybe like a breakaway. Just got that something nice, I don't know, nice crunchy, airy sort of centre that's just a nice consistency. And orange flavour just really helps. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say 5 out of 5. I was saying to myself these should be a 5 out of 5. I'm gonna do it 5 out of 5. I might be overdoing it there a bit. Maybe it should be a 4.5, but I don't know. I just remember really enjoying these. So what can I say? 5 out of 5. That's what I'm gonna give these ones. But I'd say maybe on another day it should be a 4.5. But I don't know. I feel like I remember distinctly thinking, yeah, these are really nice actually when I had them later on. So there we go. We'll go with that. Right. So now what did I do 5 years ago? Yeah. So I did a few. I won't say random ones, but I did a few sort of more indie companies sort of 5 years ago. Yeah. I think I was trying to sort of do lots of different. But basically at the time of the channel, I was thinking I want to do lots of chocolates that people wouldn't really have heard of. I was thinking that would really attract people to the channel, and it kind of doesn't really work that way, to be honest with you. It might attract people already at the channel, but what attracts people to the channel is searching for Barsley No. So it didn't really work. It didn't get many views at all, I don't think. Maybe over time it did get a bit more, but they are my older videos now as well. The quality's not quite as it is now, but yeah, I'll say links for these are in the description as well. So I did a lot of wickedly Welsh chocolates. So the Fruitylicious chocolate bar, I give this a 5 out of 5. Yeah, so I mean, looking at it, does look right nice. You've got lots of fruity, crunchy piece on the bottom. So like the bottom's got lots of crunchy bits on that have been scattered on it, basically. The top just like a regular bar, pretty much. But it sort of look a bit like those sort of flavoured rice sort of sweets you get in like a pouch, when you're young or whatever. But it tasted really nice. It's got a white chocolate middle as well that may have a sort of fruity taste as well, So really interesting, really nice bar actually, that one. I don't know if they still do it. I've not checked out Wickedly Welsh for a long time. I'm sure they're still about. I'm sure I saw a tweet or something from them, or someone sort of tasting their stuff not too long ago. So yeah, 5 out of 5, I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, I'm not going to change my mind. It looked really nice when I look back on it. So yeah, maybe I'll investigate those again at some point. But yeah, I also did the Wickedly Welsh's peanut butter chocolate bar as well. 3.5 out of 5 I gave this one. Creamy peanut butter, but not as good as things like Reese's or Kitkat Chunky, whatever. It's probably a bit more of a sort of regular, less sugary peanut butter offering. But it didn't come across as nice, unfortunately. So I gave it 3.5 out of 5. Still nice though, but So I think I'll stick with that. It sounds about right, but yeah, just wasn't quite. I can't quite remember it enough to really say for sure. But yeah, I think that sounds about right, really. So. Still nice, but as I say, just doesn't compare to other peanut butter offerings that are out there, basically, especially Kitkat Chunky peanut butter, Reese's Sticks, things like that. Reese's products generally, I think. Then we did the Wickedly Welsh's Rhubarb and Custard Crumble chocolate bar. I gave this a 3 out of 5. Yeah, so I'd say crumbly piece on the bottom, not enough of it though. It's got those sort of bits like the fruity one, sort of the crumbly piece on the bottom. I don't know, lots of rhubarb, sort of little vanilla-y sort of taste. I don't know, sort of no real custard taste or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, I was just a bit underwhelmed by this one. I feel like maybe I was a bit harsh on this one, but unfortunately I might have to re-review this to know for sure. I feel like maybe it should have been a 3.5 out of 5. But, yeah. I just felt I was a bit disappointed with it, but I don't know. I'm tempted to up this one, but it's been such a long time, I can't recall it really. But the fact I gave the peanut butter one a 3.5 out of 5. So I don't know, but, I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like it possibly should have been a 3.5 out of 5. But it's just someone I've just not had since. So I think I'm being a bit unfair to up it really when I'm not too sure. So I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt on that one. I feel if anything it probably should be up to a 3.5 out of 5. That seems a bit harsh really. Then the Wickedly Welsh's Coffee and Biscuit chocolate bar. Give us a 3.5 out of 5. Lots of crunch basically on this one. So lots of biscuity pieces, but not very dark chocolatey. Just around the edge basically. Yeah. So it had like so it's just it was like covering a sort of chocolate filling really. So obviously this was meant to be dark chocolate, I didn't mention in the title, but it was like covering the chocolate, the sort of coffee type filling or whatever, with a very thin layer of dark chocolate, and I felt that was a bit disappointing really. Yeah, not enough of a coffee taste, mainly creamy as well, so lots of crunchy bits, but overall it was just a bit disappointing really. So yeah, so 3 out of 5. Possibly should be a 3 this one as well, but again, not had it for a long time. I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, so but from the sounds of it, yeah, sounds like it might have been a 3, that one. But lots of interesting bars by Wickedly Welsh. I'll have to definitely get back into and look into their bars. They look very nice indeed, actually. And yeah, sounds like I was quite impressed with them, really. Just that fruity one. Fruitylicious chocolate bar, yeah. So check that one out. I'll have to see if that's still around. Then I reviewed some bars by a company called Kingdom. I think this is Montezuma's budget range, I think, or at least sort of offshoot of Montezuma. Don't know if they still do these, but they're on the website. I think I ordered a few bars from the website, and the Kingdom ones were there. And it was called Kingdom Milk Chocolate and Banana Chocolate Centre. Bit of a funny name. I don't think I gave this an actual rating, so I couldn't find it. It was on artificial banana flavour, I said, but not bad, but still a creamy centre. Kind of reminded me of a Lindor sort of centre, really. So quite a weak flavour. Yeah. So I think this one probably, I don't know, probably a 3.5 out of 5, I think is what I would have given it. So, yeah, I'm quite sure based on the other ones as well. I think they were just basically a bit, the centres were all quite Lindor-y, and then just I'm not a massive Lindor fan, you know what I mean? So rather than like being a chocolate type centre or, something a bit more interesting, it was just a very sort of truffly centre. So, yeah, a bit disappointing really. It's because similar case with the Kingdom Milk Chocolate and Cappuccino Coffee Centre, too creamy again in the centre. I say a bit truffy like a Lindor, but just not flavour, just very weak flavour again. So 3.5 out of 5. So I feel like these possibly should really be a 3, I don't know. But again, I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt because I've not had them for such a long time. But I feel like these are probably 3 out of 5s, these ones really. Then the last one I did of the Kingdom ones was the Milk Chocolate and Peanut Butter Centre. So said it was better peanut butter, but not too strong a flavour. And I thought it snapped a bit oddly as well, like the chocolate sort of collapsed around the centre, if you know what I mean. It's sort of like, when you bit into it maybe or snapped a segment, it kind of came away, the chocolate came away from the top of the centre on the next segment, so you kind of were left with the filling sticking out, if you know what I mean. So, bit of a funny one. Said it was all right, but similar problems to the ones, I think, where it's just a bit truffly, creamy, but I think it was more of a peanut butter centre flavour as well. So, don't know. Seemed to be a bit more impressed with that one, but still gave it 3.5 out of 5. And I say it's still too long ago for me to say for sure now if I could change my mind on that one. So I'll give myself the benefit of the doubt on those, I think, again. But an interesting one, ones I might need to reinvestigate at some point. Yes, then what did I do? I did the Nestle Kitkat White. Yeah, so I think this just came back out, hasn't it, really? So I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. It was a bit harsh on this one. So I prefer Kitkat Chunkies. And the Nestle White Chocolate's not the best on the Kit Kats, basically. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, a bit of a difficult one, this one. I feel like, trying to think what I did. I feel like maybe I gave the recent one the same result, I think. So I feel I'll keep this one the same. I feel like maybe the recent Kit Kats, so Kit Kat White Chocolates, I feel like I gave them a similar rating really. I'm not too sure off the top of my head, so hopefully I've been consistent. But yeah, so I feel I'll keep this one the same. I feel like I was tempted to raise it to a 4, but I feel like thinking on, maybe I was a bit disappointed again when I tasted the recent Kit Kats. Kit Kat White Chocolates have been re-released. So yeah, so I'm not sure. I have to double check what I gave that, whether I've been consistent or not. I mean, this one was the European version as well. It wasn't officially released in the UK. I think it was an import, I think. But yeah, so keep that as 3.5 out of 5. Hopefully I've been consistent now with the recent re-release of this one. But we'll see. I'm sure someone will let me know. Yes, and then did the Cadbury's Dairy Milk Spring Edition. Yeah, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5, maybe a 4. It was a bit hard to say. I kind of gave it a bit, it was umming and ahhing a bit. It's one of those where it's got the sort of like this sort of dairy milk base with like a sort of raised bits on each of the segments, like is in the shape of a bunny and white chocolate as well. So the ratio is not too great. You can never really taste the white chocolate with these ones. Looks nice as well, the bunnies, but not just white chocolate. It does taste okay. 3.5, 4. I think it probably is a 4 out of 5, this one, I feel like, I don't know whether I'm upping this one or not. I said a 3.5 or 4, so I think it's probably about right. I feel like it is probably a 4. It looks great. It's a shame you can't taste much of the white chocolate, but it does the job. It's not a bad offering, I don't think. So, yeah, I'll assume it's still around. It just has a nice look to it. So 4 out of 5, I think that one's about right. Dairy milk is always nice. You don't really taste the white chocolate, unfortunately, but I don't know. I feel like it just about works okay. So, yeah. I did an actual Montezuma's bar here. Montezuma's peanut butter mini eggs. Yeah, so I think well, I don't think I actually gave these a rating. Chocolate isn't that great. Peanut butter very weak, and mainly peanut butter flavoured truffle filling. So I think these ones are probably. I don't think I actually gave them a rating as such. I think I couldn't find it anyway. Maybe I missed it. I'm not sure. But I think these are probably a 2 out of 5. These ones, by the sounds of it. Yeah, so very disappointed. I remember being very disappointed by. I remember sort of really looking forward to these, thinking, oh wow, peanut butter Montezumas as well. I was really into sort of Reese's peanut butter at the time. Still am, of course, but I was really just discovered that I loved them at that time. I seem to recall. Yeah, so very disappointing. So I think I don't know what I gave it at the time, but 2 out of 5 sounds about right, really. And I remember being very disappointed. As I say, just wasn't really peanut buttery, and the truffle centre just was a bit uninteresting. So yeah, 2 out of 5 I think is about right for that one. Not sure if I was low enough, high raised. Well, I don't think I would have raised it, but yeah, I think sounds like that's what I would have given it, and I think that's about right. The Cadbury's Dairy Milk Big Taste Peanut Caramel Crisp. Yeah, I gave this a 3.5 of 4 again. I was a bit in between with this one. Prefer Snickers and more of a chew, from a Snickers basically. So it's a bit like it's their massive Big Taste bar, huge bar. So it's got like peanuts and caramel in each of the sort of the top of each segment kind of thing, and a cream base. I think for me a 3.5 out of 5 is probably about right here. I do prefer Snickers. I think the chew of a Snickers is just what does it for me, especially when they're refrigerated. Because this one didn't really have that, and I think I say it's full of stuff, but I feel like for me it's a 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, so I keep it. I think I said a 3.5 out of 4. I'll keep it the same there, so it's not really lowering it. So yeah, there we go. But I was kind of hedging my bets when I did this one back in the day. I think I probably should have committed to a certain rating really. The 2 reviews in one, the Cadbury's Caramel and the Cadbury's Milk Chocolate Roundy. So it's 2 reviews in one, this one. I really enjoyed these ones. I gave them 4.5 for both of these. And I really do like the Roundies actually. I think I preferred the Milk Chocolate one actually, as I think I was mentioning. But I love them both. Very like a chunky blue ribbon. Really, the chocolate on the outside is nothing special, but it's not really dairy milk, I don't think. But just really nice. I'm a big fan of blue ribbons, as people watching the channel will know. That sort of concept of like a wafer centre covered in chocolate. And the blue ribbons themselves are sort of a slight bit, I don't know, when they've got a flavoured wafer, I think they work even like top tier bars. Actually, I really enjoy them. Like the dark chocolate blue ribbon, and that one I reviewed from Spain as well not long ago. It had a milk chocolate wafer centre. These Cadbury's Roundies do have sort of like a vanilla centre. It's not vanilla flavoured, but bland centre, whatever. It's just not flavoured. And chocolate around the outside is not great. So I think there's definitely room for improvement, but I really enjoyed them. I know for some people I find not too exciting, but I really like the Cadbury's Roundies. I think they're really nice. It could be slightly better, as I say, with better chocolate maybe on a flavoured and a flavoured wafer. But 4.5 out of 5, I think. I think it's about right for those. Really enjoyed those. And then what else did I do? Then I did yes, Nestle Milky Bar, Milk and Crunchy. Gave this a 3.5 again, hedging my bets, I think. Nice white chocolate, small Maltese type bunny bar thing. Oh, right, okay. So it's like, like one of those sort of, you get like the little, like, you get those Maltese bunnies or whatever around Easter time, things like this. Those kind of those little Cadbury bunnies you get. But shaped like a cow. I thought it's not for me, really, I said, but quite good for kids. Very odd cow design. Sort of like a milky centre, but too creamy for me. So I think, I don't know. I feel like I said a 3.5. So again, I can't really lower it up this one, because I've just covered, hedged my bets on it really. I think based on what I was saying was perhaps, I think I'll probably give it the benefit of that, say 3.5 out of 5. I think just because it's good for kids. I think this one looked quite nice. As in, it looks nice for kids. Not saying it's healthy for kids. It just had a sort of nice look to it, and nice crunchy bits in as well. I think maybe bits that's very small, so it might be a bit too small really. But again, it's probably aimed at kids really, so I'm not sure. So difficult to say, but I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. 3.5 out of 5. I think it had a nice, interesting look to it. Quite fun for kids, as I said. I don't think they do this one anymore, but interesting one. So that's disappeared unfortunately by the sounds of it. But it did sound quite nice. But as I say, I think just about a 3.5 out of 5. I think based on my notes. Then what to have then the Guillain Belgian chocolates. Yes, I think Luke Harrigan was recommending me these ones, and he was very into the channel at the time. He's disappeared to an extent now. He does crop up every now and again. I gave these a 4.5 again, hedging my bets. I think for me these ones like a sort of very sort of Belgian-y chocolatey, so very creamy chocolate, but very praline centre as well, like praline sort of cream centres. Not as sickly as Lindor's I felt for me. Very soft. Give this a 4.5 out of 5. I think a 4 is where it's at for me. They're okay, these ones, but they're just a bit too creamy overall for me, these ones, basically. I think they were Luke's favourite chocolate at the time. I'm not sure if they still. Let me know, Luke, if you're watching this. But yeah, very, they're nice, but they're just not they're just a bit too creamy for me. I'm not a massive fan of the praline centres, as in it. I don't dislike them, but they don't do anything for me particularly. And I think, as I say, just generally just a bit too creamy for me. And as people who view the channel know, I'm not a massive fan of sort of chocolate centres and things that are just a bit too creamy, like Lindors and things like this. I prefer them to be, not quite as sickly as that. You know what I mean? So So I think a 4 out of 5 is probably about right for me. Yeah. If anything, it's probably more closer to a 3.5 out of 5 than a 4.5 out of 5. Unlike what I was saying at the time with this one. So maybe we'll count this as being moved down. Maybe I will. Possibly will. Just because I don't think I've moved any of them down or up, I think. From these ones that I did 5 years ago. But yeah, I think this one does sound like I wasn't not quite as big on it as I was at the time. Maybe I was a bit worried about offending Luke, I'm not sure. But I'm usually quite honest, so I don't think I would have been doing that. So yeah, I'm not sure. Then last one 5 years ago, the Mcvitti's Milk Dark and Milk Chocolate Cappuccino Digestive Thins. Yeah, Andrew Winter was just mentioning these in the live this week, and did review these 5 years ago, and read them all at once. I didn't mind them actually. Give them the 3 out of 4 again, hedging my bets. All tasted okay. Cappuccino's nice, but basically coffee. Wasn't really cappuccino as such. None of them stand out too much. Good to double them up, but probably not as good as the regular ones, as you imagine, regular sort of, chocolate digestives. They're okay. They were just a bit pointless, really. I mean, just a bit pointless. If you wanted sort of, to eat less digestives, just have half a digestive or just one digestive or whatever. I don't really understand it, really. Chocolate digestive. I mean, because these ones you're probably going to double them up anyway. I don't really know. I guess they were just trying to be a bit of a healthier option, but you just eat more of them. I mean, I know you could try and control yourself, but if you could control yourself anyway, then you wouldn't have any problem controlling yourself around chocolate digestives. You would just have half or just one. So, you know what I mean? So I don't really get the point of these ones. I think they're very strange concepts. I don't know if they're still about, really. I feel like I saw them not too long ago, but not too sure now. Could have just imagined it. Yeah. So, gave these, what did I say? Gave them the 3.5 or 4. I think probably, based on the fact that nowadays I've sort of lowered my threshold for what digestives, a digestive biscuit is. I think at the time I was saying it's a 3 out of 5 when I reviewed these, but now I say a 2. So I think these ones, they were nothing bad or anything. So I think, but not really quite as good as a regular milk chocolate digestive. So I think, I don't know, maybe just about a 3. But I think when you double them up, they become a 3. They're not too bad. I don't know. There was something about them that I didn't mind them, actually. I thought they were quite crisp because they were so thin. So, so I think for that reason, because they were slightly different, not as good as regular digestives, because that sort of uniqueness to them, I give them the benefit of the doubt and say a 3 rather than a 2.5 out of 5. But it's very close to 2.5 out of 5, and it's still definitely lower than what they were at the time. So, so 3 out of 5, but if anything, at 2.5 out of 5. But just for that uniqueness about that sort of crispness to them, that sort of, because they're so thin, just has a bit of an interest about them. When you double them up, they were quite interesting. But the concept itself is a pretty poor one, really, as such, But having said that, as I say, I do quite like the sort of the crispness of them because they're so thin. They're different, but I think just not really. They're just pointless, really. I think generally just just a bit of a strange biscuit. But as I say, they weren't too bad. Having said all that, but I never really went back to them, and I think I'd always go for a regular milk chocolate digestive. So so 3 out of 5 for those. Okay guys, that's what I reviewed 1 year ago and 5 years ago. I'll say a link for all these things in the description. Thanks so much for your support and for watching the channel, massively appreciated. Click on one of these videos that's been on the screen now, really would help out the channel by continuing to watch my content, so thank you so much. Probably put links to the Discord server there and maybe the member program there as well, or if not there in the description, as I say. So thank you so much, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Take care everyone, bye for now. See ya.